Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Faizin binti Bakri from Faculty of Manufacturing Engineering in UTeM. So today I'm going to do a documentary about flash flood in Kuala Lumpur regarding to SDG 2030. Flash floods are common phenomena in the capital city of Malaysia. Every year, the city experiences several flash floods. The location of the city in the river basin of two major rivers, Klang River and Kombak River, which is also in the middle of a valley. Flash floods are mostly caused by seasonal monsoon rain when inadequate drainage systems are unable to channel the water flow properly. Kuala Lumpur city experiences two kinds of flash flood around the year, such as fluvial flash flood and drainage system induced flash flood. The fluvial flash flood are dealt by DID, while drainage and street-related flash flood are dealt with TBKL. For both types of flash flood, rainfall is playing a major role. Statistics on the number and location of floods are included in DID, and all reports among the main factors that cause of flash flood in Kuala Lumpur is a rapid pace of development, such as housing and highways that are poorly planned and controlled. Therefore, the DID annual reports state that floods mitigation plans are being carried out, but call for a better coordination between federal territories and Selangor government. Recently, heavy rains led to flash flood, landslide, and fallen trees across the city on 14 October 2020. Segambut was among the places most affected. There were reports of fallen trees and flash floods in Segambut Dalam, Taman Seri Segambut, and Kampung Segambut Dalam. Today, I decided to interview one of residents in Segambut Dalam about the flash flood. Lama tinggal di Segambut Dalam?
Saya tinggal di Segambut Dalam dah hampir 13 tahun.
Okey, sepanjang tu berapa kekerapan yang selalu berlaku banjir kilat dekat Segambut Dalam tu?
Banjir ni dalam tahun 2020 ni dah 2 kali.
Okay, Puan, boleh saya tahu tak apa kesukaran ketika berlakunya banjir kilat dekat rumah?
Kesukaran tu memang sukarlah bagi mangsa banjir macam kami ni. Bila air dah naik masuk dalam rumah, memang barang-barang akan habislah rosak, seperti barang elektrik, mesin basuh, peti ais, habislah. Macam pakaian yang tak sempat angkat, memang habislah. Almari-almari semua rosaklah.
Selalunya banjir ni jadi berapa lama lah dia ambil masa untuk daripada hujan tu air naik?
Hujan kalau terlalu lebat, dalam masa macam air sungai longkang yang besar tu dah penuh, dalam automatik 5 minit dah, cepat je naik, 5 minit tu dah penuh dah halaman rumah kita. Lepas tu masa tu lah kita kena packing barang ke apa yang kalau sempat lah.
What is SDG? SDG is Sustainable Development Goal of 2030, agenda for sustainable development that adopted by world leaders in September 2015. SDG is a universal call to action to end poverty, protect and planet, and to ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030, with the tagline, "No one left behind." Goal number 15 is Life on Land, related to protect, restore and promote sustainable use terrestrial ecosystem, sustainable manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. By 2030, combat desertification, restore degraded land and soil, including land affected desertification, drought and floods, and strive to achieve a land degradation neutral world. Forest is a natural absorber of rainwater. It allows rainwater to seep through. The roots of the tree absorb the water and prevent it from flowing away. The tree present in the forest prevent the rain from directly hitting the ground, which may result in floods. It's rather hit the ground slowly. Hence, trees forest slow down the movement of running water and thus help in preventing flood. Now, we go through the detail about how the flash flood happens.
First scenario is going to show what happens when it rains in the natural environment. So before all of these houses were built in Phoenix, we had lots of desert land, and we still have quite a bit, but we have covered that up with our homes and our streets and our stores. But this is going to go way back in time before all of that was here. And when it would rain in the desert, over those natural surfaces, that dirt, the rainwater would get soaked up into the ground, and then when the ground got too wet or too saturated, that water would start to flow out and it would go into our streams and rivers. We call those our floodways. But it's coming out slowly and it's staying where it needs to stay in those rivers and streams and away from our homes. So we had residents that were building their homes near the water because they needed it for their crops, their vegetation, their animals, and just for their everyday living. But everybody was kept safe. However, people started to move to the Phoenix area and we started to urbanize, which means we were building our homes and our stores, and all of those things are built with hard surfaces, and we call those impervious surfaces, which means water cannot get through that surface, so it's nice and hard. Well, when we've taken out our natural environment, our dirt, and we replace it with those hard surfaces, there's now nothing to help absorb that water. So now when it rains on our streets, our sidewalks, our buildings, our homes, our schools, it's just going to quickly run off of that surface, and it's not able to stay contained in our rivers and streams, and it starts to flow up into our land, to our homes that are getting flooded, and this car that tried to drive through it got washed away because that water comes very quickly and it's very forceful and can wash away your car. So we want to make sure that we're not crossing those flooded roads when it rains hard like that. So here at Flood Control, we have lots of different professionals that work for us. We have engineers who design and build things. We have planners who work with the community to figure out where the flooding is happening and work with the engineers to help plan different structures to keep that from happening. So we have dams all around the valley, and we also have retention basins in many neighborhoods. And usually there'll be a park that's put in there, because if the park floods, that's okay, better than your home flooding. What those retention basins do is when it rains and the water flows off of your streets and sidewalks and homes and schools, it's going to run into that basin and it's going to collect it there and hold it back. And then if that basin becomes too full, it will slowly release it back into the natural floodway, those rivers and streams. But as you can see, it's coming out slowly now, back to how it was with the natural environment, keeping it away from our homes and keeping our citizens safe.
As flash flood recede faster than normal flood, most of the time, cloud drainage is the one reason of flash flood, rivers, and monsoon drains that overflow. Design of drainage is not static. It has to be improved with time. I would like to recommend one of initiative of solution to flooding in China. China model sponge city works like a sponge for rainwater. It absorbs the water when there is rainfall and also release the water that has stored through special models. It was designed about 30 square kilometers in 2015 for sponge city construction. Besides, it's a sustainable approach to urban development.
就是可以渗水的，它的这个材料呢是透水沥青，我们可以通过一个实验来展示一下它的这个渗水的效果。我们这个效果就可以达到那个小雨不湿鞋，中雨不积水，大雨不内涝。因为在下雨的时候，我们依然可以在这个路面上散步。
Basically, the method of engineering are usually very expensive and will function better. For non-engineering solution, we can always protect wetlands and introduce plant trees strategically. We also can tackle climate change. Climate change has been increased ever since the Industrial Revolution and the flash flood has increased. Several factors that contribute to flash flooding are rainfall intensity and duration. Preventing is better than curing. The forest cover must be preserved. Deforestation and logging must be controlled. When forest cover are lost at a fast rate, rainwater from elevated zone will rush down quickly as a delay mechanism is removed. When we lost our forest, we lost our retention flood system. So that's all from me. Thank you.